You're listening to episode 58 of the Fed and Fearless podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing my core values as a business owner and letting you know if this is the right podcast for you to continue listening to now and in the future. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Laura Schoenfeld. I'm a registered dietitian and coach trained in functional medicine with a passion for helping women just like you ditch perfectionism and use food, fitness, and self-care to fuel your bigger God-given purpose. I believe that it's possible to achieve your biggest life-changing goals without the frustration, obsession, or negative self-talk that so many women subject themselves to every day. All you need are the right tools, the right mindset, and the faith to turn your dreams into reality. I'm here to guide you along the way. The truth is that you are so much more than a body, and I'm on a mission to help you change the way you think and act at a core beliefs level so you can transform your physical, mental, and spiritual health from the inside out. Are you ready to become fed and fearless in your pursuit of a healthy, meaningful life? Welcome to the Fed and Fearless podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fed and Fearless podcast. I'm Laura Schoenfeld. I'm your host as always, and this is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff episode today. I don't know if you can hear in my voice, but I am a little under the weather. My husband got a positive COVID test last week, so, put two and two together on that one. I'm going to guess that I'll be sick for a little bit of time, but all of that said, the show must go on with the podcast. And so I wanted to make sure I was showing up for you guys and making sure that I was getting this episode out on time. And it's been a very interesting week. It's early November right now. And if you're in the United States, you obviously know that the beginning of November has been crazy with the election, with all of the results that have come in and the perspectives on both sides about those results. So I don't necessarily need to explain to you why this week has been crazy, but I did want to come on and talk a little bit about the reaction that I'm seeing in the online space, especially on social media, because honestly, I feel like that's pretty much where most of this stuff is coming from as far as people's reactions. And it's something that I've just felt called to talk about today. And the reason for that is because somehow I'm seeing even more division after the election. I think a lot of people were hoping that it would kind of, I hate to say put the nail in the coffin, but really just kind of say decisively where our country is headed as far as our, beliefs as a country, our perspective as a country. And somehow a week later, we're, if not still in this level of division, I almost feel like I'm seeing more division. And I think that's really unfortunate. I'm seeing a lot of very angry people on both sides of the political aisle. I'm seeing people calling out individuals for their political beliefs. So like literally naming people and shaming them for their perspective or, who they're following on social media, that kind of thing. That's a little bit less common. It's kind of more rare, thankfully. But even if that level of calling out is rare, I am seeing a lot of others just broad brushing voters on either side. So people saying, if you voted for Trump, this is you and this is who you are. And the same way, if you voted for Biden, this is who you are. And this is, what I think about you. And I think it's really unfortunate that we're at a time in our world, in our country. I can't really speak for the world, honestly. I'm American, so I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world as far as their perspective about all of this stuff. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're very involved because I know the US plays a big role in foreign policy as well. So I'm not going to speak for other people as far as what their perspective is. I'm just going to speak for my perspective. But the fact is that I really think that we need to be paying attention to how the people that are influencing us and we're looking to for health information, for business information, we need to be paying attention to how they're responding to this whole situation, because I honestly don't think it matters who the person voted for. I really think that I believe there are very smart people that voted for both candidates. I think there are very good arguments for voting for either candidate. So I don't have a personal perspective on the individual's political leanings or who they voted for. However, I do think that the way that a person reacts to the election or to what's going on with the election results to be very telling about what they think about other people. And some people are being very clear about what they think about other people and being very honest about their hatred for certain groups. And, for me, I actually think that the way that a person reacts to the election says more about them than the actual person that they voted for. If you're interested in what my perspective is, I was really inspired today by Annie Miller. Annie Miller put a post on Instagram that I just thought captured it really well. And that was part of what inspired me to have this conversation on the podcast. This recording's probably coming out a little over 2 weeks after I recorded this. So you have to dig a little bit for Annie's exact post. I might link to it in the show notes just so you can see it. But I agree with Annie, who says that she doesn't want her audience to be a monolith. I am also not interested in having an audience that all believes the exact same thing. I welcome and honor all of my audience members, especially my clients, the people who are paying me to help them grow their business, to help them spread their message to the world. I actually really like having clients that have different viewpoints. I find the diversity of the people I work with to be an asset, not a liability. And I actually just really want there to be continued conversations that are not necessarily ending up in agreement, but are at least presenting different viewpoints. Because when conversations get shut down, when certain viewpoints get censored or shamed or, told that you're not allowed to feel that way, I actually think that does a lot more harm to our country than there being, strong disagreements and division in the way that people see politics. All of that said, as you guys probably know, if you've been listening to my podcast for any length of time, I am a conservative Christian. And there are many beliefs that I have that I am confident rub people the wrong way. And I'm confident that there's a lot of people out there who would be very angry to hear the beliefs that I have. I'm just going to, say it like it is. I am not under any delusion that the way that I view the world is the way that everybody else views the world. And unfortunately, I do feel like the level of polarity in our nation right now has created, a whole group of people that actually really hate the beliefs that I have. And that's something that I've really been finding out this week about how some people, not only in the health space, but also in the entrepreneurial space, finding out that they feel very strongly about my beliefs. And they've been I've seen people asserting that people who identify as conservative Christians who believe as I do, that Jesus is king of the earth and that no matter who wins the election, that he's in charge and I'm going to respect whoever is the ruler of this nation, but I'm also not going to consider them, the person who's leading my morality or my decision-making or the way that I show up in the world. There's a lot of people that are asserting that people who have those beliefs, that they are racists, that they're misogynists, that they hate the LGBTQ community, and that they don't stand for human rights other than the beliefs about abortion, which I think a lot of people don't believe, that unborn babies have human rights. And I'm not saying that to say what you should believe. I think you can believe anything that you want. I think that's the beauty of the United States, is that you're not, there's no danger for you to have the beliefs that you have, and you're permitted to share those beliefs. However, I do find it very sad that a lot of those same people who have been calling out President Trump for his divisive language are now using the very same language and the same level of hatred and the same level of, just intensity of negativity, that they're having that same reaction against people that they disagree with. And I feel like it's very hypocritical. I'm not going to lie. I don't necessarily think that Trump's language was ever something that I would promote, or, I think he said a lot of stuff that I'm very disappointed by and think is harmful. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But if there's a group of people that are now using the election results as an opportunity to act that exact same way against the people that they disagree with, I feel like that says a lot more about them than anything else. And you guys know me, I don't mince words. So for me, I truly do respect people no matter who they voted for. I have friends that voted for both of the candidates. I've had conversations with people that have voted for both of the candidates. I have had conversations with people who voted for a different candidate than I did, and they know that I voted differently, and we've had civil conversations about it. And I really assume personally that the vast majority of people who voted the way that they did so because they are intellectually and emotionally convinced that they did the right thing. I really do believe that. And I know that might not be the most popular opinion, but I tend to think that most people believe that the decisions that they're making are actually the right decisions. And in most cases, that they're right for the people of this country and not just themselves individually. Now, yes, of course, there are bigots and racists out there. And yes, there are people who are calling for the abolition of capitalism, the abolition of the police, and even to get rid of the Constitution. So there's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that have very strong opinions that are not necessarily thinking about the welfare of the entire nation. But all of that said, I believe that the vast majority of all Americans do really want what's best for our nation. And they want what's best for people of all colors, all genders, all belief systems, and all viewpoints. And so I'm choosing to hold on to that belief and to welcome anyone into my community who desires diversity of thought and respectful dialogue, as well as someone who desires to feel like it's okay for them to have conviction in their own personal beliefs and values. Now, I'm sharing these thoughts with you all for two main reasons. The first reason is that I really do want you to know how much I value you being here. I'm talking to you, the listener right now, who's on your walk, driving in your car, sitting out on your porch, wherever you are listening to this right now, I'm speaking to you. I really do value and appreciate you being here. And that does not matter what your beliefs are, no matter what political party you voted for, no matter what side of the aisle you fall on, even if you and I have very, very different beliefs about important topics, things that really matter to a lot of people. We do not have to convince each other to believe the same thing to have a relationship, for you to be here, for me to care about you, for me to want you to be successful, for me to want you to be able to spread your message if you're a business owner. And in fact, I feel like the belief that we have to think the same way to be in community with each other or to have a relationship with each other is the exact belief that creates more division in our country and not less. So I am very committed to including as many diverse opinions as possible and having conversations with people that don't agree with me. Now, the second reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want to give you the opportunity to bow out of my community if you cannot reconcile your feelings about Christianity or about conservatism with who I am as a person and the value that I may or may not bring to your life. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but I've seen this coming up in a variety of different influencers, different business owners, different people in the health space that are saying that they don't want people in their community if they don't agree. I don't feel that way, but if you feel that way, if you really do not want to be in a community of people that talk about religion, talk about spirituality, talk about, challenging issues that people have different opinions on, then I really would just invite you to find somebody else to follow, because I believe in helping all people as much as I can, but not in a way that forces me to sacrifice my own personal convictions in order to increase my popularity or in order to make sure that I'm bringing as much people into my space as possible. I do my best to never do that, to never be fake or to say things that I don't agree with just to please others. And I actually hope that way of operating is something that's actually of value to you and not something that's causing harm to you or not something that makes you feel like you need to be leaving. But if you do feel that way, then it's totally fine. And I respect that choice for you to step out of my community if that's something that's going to be a problem for you. And the reason why I respect that choice, and because I believe there's no way for me to make everybody happy, is because in Matthew 10:34, Jesus says, quote, Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. A few moments later, he says, quote, those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. So while I believe that I'm called to love others, to listen to them, to honor them, to be kind to them, to be in relationship, even if somebody does not have the same perspective as me, I'm also not going to drop my personal convictions about what the Word of God says in order to make others happy. I fully recognize that my personal beliefs can be infuriating to others, but it's also not my job to pacify people who are committed to misunderstanding me or committed to making me wrong. So I know that that might sound heavy, but honestly, I believe that all of this division is going to continue getting worse. Really, no matter how we respond personally, even if we are doing everything we can to create unity, to create conversations, to respect other people, I think from a biblical perspective, I really do believe that this is just going to keep getting worse. And it's unfortunate, but I also think that it's what the Bible predicts. So my ultimate perspective is that I know that I'm going to have to answer for my behavior and my words when I die. I know that I'm going to stand before God and have an account for everything that I've done in this life. And so I'm going to hold myself accountable to both loving others well and really doing as good of a job as I can, knowing that I'll mess up, knowing that I'll make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I will never be perfect. So, I'm committed to doing as much as I can to serve others well and to be kind to others and to love others, as hard as it can be sometimes. But I'm also committed to standing firm in my faith and obeying God's commands, even at the risk of creating enemies or potentially even limiting my business success due to those beliefs. I've had people reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, Laura, you're so brave for saying what you say. I don't know how you do it. Don't you get backlash from it? Yes, I do get backlash. Yes, I do have people that get very angry. I do have people that send rude messages. I do have former relationships in the health space or the entrepreneurial space that they don't exist anymore because those people seriously hate the things that I believe. And so it's something that I know is going to happen, and I'm not going to walk around timid trying to please everybody or trying to pretend like I don't believe something because I'm worried about somebody else taking it and I don't even want to say the wrong way, just being triggered by it or being so personally offended by it that it ends our relationship. I can't stop that from happening. And so it's not my job to try. And the people who know me personally, especially if you're someone who's worked with me for any length of time, I believe my mission is to serve and to lift up anyone that I possibly can and to empower them to be in the driver's seat of their life, in the driver's seat of their choices, in the driver's seat of the results that they get, whether that's in their health or in their business. And I hope that this mission comes through in everything that I do, whether that is this podcast, my blog, my social media, the way that I serve my clients, the programs that I create, everything that I do. My goal is to make your life as much in your control as possible, understanding that nothing's totally in our control, but just giving you that empowerment to actually see the results that you want to see in your life and take responsibility and take action in a way that helps you reach the goals that you have. And if you're a health business owner, nutrition business owner, I want you to be able to spread your message as far and wide as possible to help as many people as possible as well. So I know that this is a little bit of a charged episode. I am trying to be honest and also be as respectful as possible with everything that I'm seeing going on right now. And I know there's a lot of people that agree with me that they feel like the way that people are reacting right now is really telling as far as what their personal beliefs are and what their beliefs around how they treat others are. And I would just really encourage you to be watching and pay attention to the people that are reacting the way that they're reacting and ask yourself, is that somebody who I really want to be in regular contact with? Do I want to be following that person as a mentor or as an inspiration if that's how they treat people that disagree with them? So all of that said, listen, if you find that anything I'm saying today is something that you so strongly disagree with that you are, feeling like there's no way that you can follow me anymore, I honor that. And I respectfully give you, not that you need my permission, but I hope you will give yourself permission to bow out. But for those of you who are interested in what I have to say and do find that my honesty and my convictions are inspiring to you, whether you agree with them or not, then I'm happy to have you here. So with all of that, the last thing I wanted to do on this episode, it's going to be a shorter one because my nose is running as I'm talking. So I don't want to be going on too long. But with that, I did want to share my company's core values with you. I came up with these core values this year after a lot of introspection and a lot of thought about what I stand for, not only in my own personal life, but in who I am as a business owner, because I don't think they're the same thing 100% of the time, but there is a lot of overlap, because the things that I talk about in my personal life aren't necessarily things that I think are important to be talking about to the internet, right? So I have a very specific mission for my business, but my company's values do align very strongly with my values as a person. So the reason I wanted to share this with you is so you can decide whether or not this community is somewhere you want to spend your valuable time. We just had a podcast episode release on November 9th about time management. And one of the things that she talked about a lot was making sure you're spending your time in things that are valuable to you. So if listening to this podcast is no longer of value to you, then great. I want you to find a different podcast. But if it is something that you're finding value in, I want to make sure that you know my personal values that are my company values as well. And I hope that this will give you, an answer as to whether or not this podcast is the right place for you to spend your time. Okay. So there are 7 core values of my company that I want to go over. I'm just going to read them just because, again, I spent a good few hours writing these and just making sure that the words were correct, because words matter. And I think, the way that I express this is important. So I'll go over the 7 core values, and then I'll share a little bit about my big why as a company. So my first company value is integrity. We do what we say we will do. We treat people ethically while holding them to their commitments. We are trustworthy, candid, and honest. We have strong convictions and operate consistently within our core values. We have honest conversations that allow us to stay in this integrity. We do not fear healthy confrontation, and we are willing to have difficult conversations in order to stay in our individual and collective integrity. We attract clients and customers who appreciate our candor and transparency. Value number 2 is freedom. We create more freedom for our clients and value freedom in our own lives. Financial freedom, time freedom, freedom of speech, and freedom to pursue dreams. We hire people who value more freedom as a benefit of working for us. And we help our clients experience more freedom in their own businesses and their life. Value number 3 is excellence. Everything we create is done at our highest level of capability. We do not cut corners. We stand out in our market because of our commitment to this excellency. We're known for the high quality programs and services we provide, and we do our work to the best of our ability. We're willing to do whatever it takes to work with excellence, and we consistently exceed our clients' expectations. Value number 4 is growth. We value growth in all areas of our lives, growth in our knowledge, in our customer numbers, in our impact and reach, in our skills, in our leadership, and in our profitability as a company. We consistently measure key performance indicators that demonstrate our consistent growth in core areas of our business. Value number 5 is community. Healthy relationships based on compassion, empathy, and respect define our company, including our relationships with our customers. We do believe in community over competition. Connecting and collaborating with other businesses is a priority and provides mutual benefit. We foster great relationships between our clients and have a strong, supportive community in all of our programs. Value number 6 is well-being. We care about the health and well-being of our employees, our clients, and their clients. We encourage employees to practice self-care and to take care of their health. We teach our clients how to care for themselves while they care for others. Our company creates a ripple effect out into the world where physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health and wellness are continuously increasing. And value number 7 is fun. We have so much fun in our company. We know that the more fun that we have, the more money we bring in. We do what we do in part because it brings us joy. We regularly get into a flow state with our work and really do enjoy the work that we do. We have fun together, both when meeting in person as well as meeting virtually. Our clients and customers have fun while they're working with us. We are serious about the work we do and the results we get for our customers, but we don't take life too seriously. And finally, I want to share with you a part of my big why for doing the work that I do. Our company exists to create more freedom in the world, more financial freedom, more time freedom, more freedom of speech, more freedom to share alternative and unconventional health approaches, and more freedom in the minds and bodies of thousands of people around the world. We especially desire to create more freedom for women. We have a mission to help women get the quality healthcare they deserve outside of the conventional medical system, and for female entrepreneurs to create a business that supports their dreams and allows them to have healthy families along with a healthy business. So that's the big why. And that's the 7 core values that guide my business and the work that I'm doing in the world and this podcast. So I hope that this episode has given you a deeper look inside of my business and helps you understand why my business may or may not be the right place for you. It's very possible that you heard all of that and thought, you know what, this doesn't sound aligned. I need a different podcast to listen to. That's great. And maybe you heard it and you thought, wow, I really align with that. I like those values. I appreciate them and I connect with them and I want to stay here and I want to keep listening to this podcast. Awesome. I respect whatever decision that you make, but I wanted to be forthcoming about what my perspectives are, what my beliefs are, where I'm not willing to bend when it comes to my core values, and the belief that I have that everybody is entitled to their own opinion and that that's what makes our country great, is that freedom to think differently, to have different opinions, to have respectful dialogue, and to not feel like you have to convince someone to believe the same thing that you believe in order to have a relationship with them. So all of that said, again, I'm going to wrap this episode up. It's not going to be as long as usual, but I'm really glad if you're still here. Super grateful for you being on this show, listening to this on a regular basis, being part of my audience, whether or not we ever work together. You know, I'm just really grateful to have this opportunity to speak into your life. I do not take it for granted. So, you know, I really do honor you being here, and I don't want to go on and on about how I feel about it, but it is something that I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. So if you want to continue the conversation with me about this in general, I know it's going to be later in November when this comes out. I'm hoping that things will be a little calmed down by then, but I honestly don't have a lot of expectation for that. But if you want to talk with me about this, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My handle is @LauraSchoenfeldRD. If you want to DM me and we can discuss any of this, I'm open to a conversation. I'm an open book, happy to share with you whatever you want to hear about and whatever you want to know about me as a business owner. Or if you want to share your feedback about this episode, please feel free to send it. I will say I'm going to be limiting my time spent on social media for the next several weeks just because of how draining it is to be there right now. But I do appreciate connecting with people, especially those of you who resonate with these values and want to have a conversation about it. So all of that said, I'm going to wrap things up, but thank you so much for spending this time with me on today's episode. I hope that this gives you a little bit of a peek into, actually maybe a big peek into what my mission is in my business, in this podcast. And if you're sticking around, then awesome. I would love to connect with you, and please feel free to let me know how you felt about this episode and what kind of things you'd like to hear about this on this podcast in the future. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you here next time on the Fed and Fearless podcast. Take care, everybody.
Hey everyone, Laura Schoenfeld here again. As you know, I absolutely love working with women from all walks of life to help them create a purpose-filled life that they love. And over the past 2 years, I've expanded my mission to help nutrition business owners drop the hustle and come into alignment with their ideal business goals so they can work from a sense of ease and abundance and grow their income and their impact with joy. Unlike other business coaches, I have experience in the integrative and functional medicine, health, and wellness industry. And I've heavily invested in my own online business training and mentorship to get to a place where I'm now bringing in multiple six figures of revenue on an annual basis. Would you believe that I've invested over $130,000 in my own business development and mentorship over the past 7+ years? And honestly, that's just the financial cost of growing my business. It's taken me hours and hours of testing, learning, experimenting, and lots of failing to get to the place where I am today. After all this, I can tell you one thing with absolute certainty. There's no way I would be where I am today if I had not been willing to invest in my growth and to find the incredible mentors who have helped me accelerate my business faster than I ever imagined. The truth is that running an online business can be incredibly isolating. And if you don't have the right strategy or systems in place, it can take up nearly every waking minute of your free time, which is a recipe for a major health disaster and some serious business burnout. To grow your business to six figures and beyond without destroying your physical and mental health, you need support from both a mentor and a community of people who know what it's like to run a nutrition business online, who can help you succeed faster and easier than you'd be able to on your own. And that's why I'm so excited to offer a space for you to experience joyful and profitable business growth while being surrounded and supported by other driven nutritionists on the same thrilling journey of entrepreneurship. This opportunity is my annual mastermind. In the mastermind, you'll create relationships that will last a lifetime and achieve results in your business that you never would have imagined for yourself. If you want to learn more about this mastermind opportunity, go to lauraschoenfeld.com/mastermind. On that page, you'll find everything you need to know about what the mastermind includes and how to apply for your spot. I'd love to connect with you further about the business that you're growing and how the mastermind can help you support your goals. So go to lauraschoenfeld.com/mastermind to send in your application, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.